in my head is the words accountability and feedback. I wasn't taught or trained how to have those conversations in a useful manner to support other folks. I was scared of having those conversations. I didn't know how. I wanted to. I had the desire, and I was too fearful because I wanted to be liked. That limited my impact and influence, and it cost the business.
All right, folks, today I am bringing you our newest leadership performance advisor at Wingspan, Bruce Stankavage. Bruce is really a unicorn in this space. He has an uncommon, I'm going to talk to you. You have an uncommon combination of an amazing, how many years did you own and operate businesses?
26 years.
26 years, starting, building, owning, operating, and then successfully exiting businesses, multiple businesses. And then you also have this advanced degree in counseling psychology. The depth that you bring is just tremendous. And so I'm excited for our listeners to continue to learn more about you. They learned a little bit when you and Mike had the episode, though I want to get into a little more of that, as well as our Wingspan system. So, Bruce, you've got this master's in counseling psych, and I can imagine all of the different models and learning. And in fact, you took a 3-year program and you accomplished it in 2 years. Like that.
Somehow I did that. I'm not exactly sure how, looking back on it, but yes.
Yeah, really aggressive. Like, so your depth in all of these different models, how do you see Wingspan and our behavioral performance system is so different that you decided to join us as a performance advisor?
A couple things come to mind, Cathy. One is when we first talked, and I saw in the job description literally was the combination of purpose and passion. That really struck me. That I have a passion to support people and to see them learn and grow and becoming more true to who they are. And the purpose to do that part of my calling is to be that person and support others. And so that struck me as, wow, these are not just leadership coaches, and what you've designed and created is something so much more powerful than what our website conveys. And so the thing that stands out, one of the things is the immediate application of what we talk about. I remember the first day when I got home, I shifted how I interacted with my family. I would typically go home and say to my wife, "Did you walk Larry today?"
Larry, we all know Larry.
Yes,
we gotta put Larry on the website too.
Larry's the king of our house, and then it's my wife, and then my 3 boys, and then I'm somewhere at the bottom. And I would ask her, "Did you walk Larry today?" I talked to Cole, my youngest son, "Did you go to practice today, or did you work out?" And I had a habitual autopilot pattern of asking them yes and no questions. And then I'd get pissed off that they'd give me yes or no answers. Cole would say, "Yeah, I went to practice." And Liz would be say, "Yeah, I walked Larry." And that was the end of it. And so that first day, as I talked with you and Ivan and Mike and Heather, the ability to see like that yes or no question limits connection with other folks and most importantly with my family. And so that day I went home and shifted a question to Liz is, where did you walk Larry today? And then she'd tell me where he'd walk, or Cole, what did you work on at practice today? And if the leaders that we support don't leave with 1 or 2 immediate action steps that they can apply in the next 5 minutes or the next conversation or the next meeting, then I feel like we're not doing our jobs.
Or they're not paying attention.
Yes. Yes. It's that application, and have going through the graduate school program, and it was great transforming in the change model takes time. Here, this is what we talk about shifts people's mindset, behavior, and communication from day one. And that's amazing to me.
Oh, that is, I love hearing it. And earlier, you said that it's a calling for you. And when you were going through the interview process, and the leaders who work with us, I'm sure can appreciate we have an extensive qualifying process. And that's really what came through loud and clear, is that it really is a calling for you. It is deep within your purpose, how you interact with people and the impact that you have. And that was key to offering you the opportunity to come on board with us. And we are benefiting tremendously from that.
And I felt that from you, Cathy, when we first met, that, like I said, this is a lot deeper work than behavioral performance. It is behavioral performance, and it's behavioral performance in the office and out of the office and at home.
Yeah.
And I don't separate how I show up at the office and how I show up at home. I want to be my best self with my family. Those are the most important relationships. And all the work that we do with the leaders and hearing the personal stories that they share.
The best.
That is unbelievably satisfying, as it is impacting the business and running more efficiently. And so that's excitement. And I felt that. There's something in me that noticed that Cathy has crafted this for the last 23 years, and it's different than anything I've ever experienced. And I wanted to be a part of it.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
And in that interview process, just funny story, being on my own for 26 years, I didn't have a resume.
Yeah. You know what's funny too is because a lot of leaders that we work with know Wingspan does not hire traditionally trained coaches. And so, what's interesting is I never looked for your resume. So in that whole,
I spent all that time. Oh my gosh, I have to scrap this resume. I'm going for what do I do? And thanking this for some chat GBT and some friends that were like, "Hey, help me out. I'm an old guy. I don't know what." Yeah. Anyway,
that is, I've still not to this day. I've not looked at your resume.
Wow, fascinating. Yeah.
I like to assess interacting with people, though it's exciting. I mean, it means a lot to me hearing from you because of your unique combination and rich experience. I didn't build the system from having advanced degrees in psychology, or behavioral science. I built the system out in the field with leaders on construction sites, and of course it's been battle tested over the years. And I don't have the advanced degrees, though it has been interesting over the years to learn how science backed it is, and even outside of that. It's what you just said earlier is you, Ivan, Heather, Bruce, we love working in the intensity of that business environment because the leaders we work with are so hard charging. And at the same time, my favorite stories are on the personal side with their children, their significant other. That's the best.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to one of the things you said, Cathy, was it's battle tested because you have those scars and you don't survive in your business for 23 years without making an impact. I don't know what the statistic is for most small business owners, women business owners that survive for 23 years. Like you crushed all the statistics and are a unicorn and an anomaly in that. And that's the confidence that I have as I'm growing in my leadership performance here, that if when the leaders we work with implement this and look at life through mindset, behavior, and communication, it will change the way they show up. It will change their leadership influence and impact. There is no doubt in my mind. I've seen it, and I've seen it one-on-one and in group sessions, and heard the stories of other folks that you've worked with that have shared with me the impact that you've had, or Mike and Heather and Ivan have had.
Oh, I love hearing that. Wait, we're talking about you.
Yeah,
so
okay. I wanted to deflect a little bit on that.
Well, yeah, coming on board and becoming a leadership performance advisor for Wingspan is not a weekend retreat. It takes day after day, months, 5, 6, 7 months of real intense work. Perhaps you might call it nonstop hazing from Ivan, Mike, Heather, and me, and giving people a look under the hood as you've been the last, how many months? 5 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So intense day after day. What's been eye-opening in the process of becoming an advisor?
Man, so much. It hasn't been hazing, but some days it's felt like that. The precision, clarity, and intentionality with how we show up and communicate is unlike anything I've ever seen. And in my work history, I valued speed over clarity, which is similar to many leaders that we work with. They get things done, get it out the door, and let's move on. And that's not how we operate. And so for me to slow down and really think about, how do I want to say this in a way that impacts and influence the folks that I'm with, and have them move in a direction that they want to move in with my support. That I've never experienced that. And that's just eye-opening. And the amount of preparation that we do for our client sessions is unmatched. Like I don't know what the leaders we work with think of how we prepare, but we prepare.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge. It's to prepare because of that precision. And I feel a responsibility to represent you and what you've created well. That I want you and Ivan and everybody else to trust me, that if I could go in there and talk to somebody that you've built trust with, that you can trust me. And so I feel that added burden and challenge to do that. Because I've been a business owner, and there have been times when, if I had an investor, I was like, I don't know if I want that person over there talking to my investor.
Yes.
And so I feel that way. And I imagine, as you've trained now 4 of us, including Ivan, that's an interplay. That's something that's going on in your mind.
100%.
Is like, Bruce, please don't. Oh man.
I mean, that's not what I'm thinking though. The relationships that I've built, that each of us build, they're the lifeblood of Wingspan and mean so much to me. And so, and that's part of what I greatly respect and value, is that you do take that seriously and take it into your heart, and bring that into. I mean, that's part of what drives our high performance all around, is treating every interaction as important, because that person is important.
100%. The other thing that comes to mind, Cathy, as you're talking, is the amount of feedback that we give and receive here. It's a lot, and we practice what we preach, and the shift in feedback as healthy support is significant in my own journey, where the feedback that I received historically over the course of my life has been more criticism. The intent may have been there to support me, but it didn't come across that way. And that in many ways triggers me, that when we have conversations or I'm given feedback, that for me to grow to a place where I can accept that, as that you are giving me that feedback, out of a place of driving my performance because you want to see me do well and represent us well. And that sounds easy in real time.
Yeah.
When we communicate and offer some of that, it does. It's challenging. It's tough.
Yeah, for sure. The and not just supporting you or any other team member in doing well. It's supporting you because your behavioral performance is how you're creating your entire life. And so we don't always talk about that with the leaders when we're in that business setting, though that is absolutely the focus is, like you said, it's not just, how you as a performance advisor are interacting with our leaders that we work with. It's how are you interacting with your wife and how are you interacting with your most important people? Yeah. And Larry.
Yeah. He might be the most important one.
That's right. He's the king.
Family. Yes.
And part of what you're describing also is, a leader over the years, leaders have have told me that just an hour session. I remember one leader that I worked with years ago. His name was Alan, business owner. Again, hard charging, little edgy. People might call him abrasive. And we might be 20 minutes in to our session, and he would look at the clock and he'd be like, "Fuck, has it only been 20 minutes?" Because it feels like a workout to them, and that's just an hour. And so you've been, Mike continues to be in that space. You're in that space where it is hour over hour over hour, because the that journey in becoming a Wingspan advisor is all about your inside game.
100. Yeah.
And
sorry.
No, not at all. And so as you've, again, been going through this intensive or almost immersive process, what's been particularly challenging?
Yeah. Naming some autopilot patterns and tendencies and habitual ways of looking at people and looking at the world, where I would look at the world and think everyone is judging me, and that I have to perform well to keep my identity intact. And so stepping into this space where I am receiving feedback and input to support me to be the best version of myself, the mindset shift, and we've talked about this, that it's not about me. My role is not about me.
Yeah.
My role is to help or support the person that I'm in front of or the group of leaders that I'm working with to get more of what they want and less of what they don't want. And I've heard you say this several times, is we're not here to fix people. I'm not here to fix people, to fix someone. And that really resonates with me, because for my journey and career, I felt like something was wrong with me. And that, yeah.
Well, a lot of leaders will share a similar sentiment. And, my brother Sam called it the invisible audience or something like that about, and I have that too, where it's like this, it's not just a feeling, it's these thoughts or almost this perspective, one of our protective parts. It's this perspective of being seen, being watched. Yeah. And being judged, not being seen, and so that is that's what's so amazing, is that in order for you to have that impact that you're aiming to in every interaction that you have and the people that you interact with, not just as an advisor, again, just 360, requires that humbling, highly vulnerable work on your inside game.
Yes. back to my graduate school where I did that 3-year program in 2 years, which was unbelievably intense. They don't even allow you to do it anymore because it's too much. It's just too much. The requirements of seeing your own therapist for 2 years every week, and the philosophy behind it was you can only take someone as far as you've gone.
Yes.
Which we adhere to that. We don't use that language, but therapeutically. And this is the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, bar none, hands down. I was with a good friend of mine.
More challenging than the 2 year?
Oh my gosh, by far. And I'm older. Like maybe it would get easier the older I got. And I'm in a place where to be the person that I aspire to be and to support and make the impact and grow goodness and love in the world. Learning from you and Ivan and Heather and Mike, it's required parts of me that I didn't think I had. Yeah, that I didn't think that I had. I remember watching in high school videotapes of me playing basketball with my brother, and those were not fun sessions. Just didn't feel like I could do anything right, and highly critical, and those were hard. And in our environment, some of our conversations where we go take me back to that place of exposure where I feel exposed.
Yeah. That's, again, leaders will share similar that they feel exposed because when we're, as a Wingspan advisor, when we're with them, we are seeing them and listening to them at a level perhaps no one has, or it's happened rarely. And that can be unnerving for sure. And at the same time, what's really incredible is that they know that they have the safety to go there. And we are, as an advisor, we're steady in that powerful partnering. So they get to lean on us. And ultimately, they are going to make progress on what matters most to them.
And you brought up a fantastic point of how we work very hard to create safety, to have impactful conversations, safety with the leaders that we work with in small team sessions and the one-on-ones. That is very important to us, and feel safe. And I feel safe here in this environment that you guys have created, that safety. Because when I feel safe, and you've said this before, Cathy, that your love is greater than my fear. Those aren't words to you. I've experienced that from you. And I don't know if you say that to the folks you work with. It doesn't matter because they can feel it. People feel our hearts for them, to support them. And in a business world, in a high-flying, high-paced leaders, that's different. Because we can speak the language of accountability and feedback and driving revenue and driving performance. And we also know that leadership begins with ourselves. That was one of my things that I learned. How can I lead somebody well if I'm not leading myself well?
Yep.
And so that what you were talking about prompted me to think of creating the safety with our leaders, to have those more difficult conversations that perhaps they haven't had with anybody else in the world. Yeah,
the support that we really exchange with them is unusual for most leaders.
Yes.
And speaking of, over the years, not only in your own companies, also with fellow business owners. I mean, I'm sure that you've seen and heard stories about how they attempt to address poor performance or even subpar performance, usually with some really outdated, attempts of trust falls or that, flavor of the month training. What do you see is just flat out fundamentally different about the Wingspan system and other like standard training that's dished out?
Our definition of total performance. The entry point to our program is unpacking performance to equate technical performance and behavioral performance. So for example, I was having coffee with a good friend of mine, Evan, who's an NBA coach, and we were talking about performance, and he asked what I was doing, and I said, well, let me explain it this way. I said, technical performance, Evan, from a basketball standpoint, is you have a player that's a fantastic shooter, excellent ball handler, can pass the ball well, sees the court. That's what they do. Those are their skills on a technical basis. And behaviorally, they're a crappy teammate. They don't communicate with their coaches well. They complain to the refs. They're not supporting their teammates. And so how they do what they do and differentiating the what, which is the technical, and the how, which is the behavioral, was eye-opening for me. I had performance, and I've been a college basketball player, and thinking this big, huge bucket of performance and us breaking it down to technical and behavioral, the light bulb went off for me. And when I was talking to Evan, he's like, oh, I get it. Because he knows there's folks that have been great teammates or great basketball players, not teammates, and the worst teammates, in the locker room. And they're not high performers. They're high performers technically and not behaviorally. And so it's fun to see the light go off for him, explaining it in a athletic standpoint like that.
Yeah. And that reminds me of my friend Natalie. Her son plays lacrosse. He's just a monster out on the field. And she shared with me, I don't know if it came from her or if it came from her husband. I want to say it came from her brother. There are losers who lose. There are losers who win. There are winners who lose. And there are winners who win. And to me, that was super eye-opening about technical and behavioral. Because when winners lose, you see leader behaviors. When losers win or when losers lose, those are the the dysfunctional, protective behaviors of victim, villain, or sometimes martyr. And of course, winners who win, again, their behaviors are what distinguish them in people's eyes.
Absolutely. And that was so eye-opening for me. And I wish I knew that, 25 years ago. And as I've coached sports and basketball my whole life, I have 3 boys that were very athletic, to put more focus on how they do what they do and how they show up versus just the technical skills of ball handling or shooting and so on. And guess what? At the higher levels of performance, the skills, the technical, are dime a dozen. That's not what separates the best from the mediocre.
Yeah.
It's how they do it. How do they communicate? How do they show up? And so on. And that's exciting to me, because this performance is a big nebulous word. And so breaking it down, the technical, we talked about it earlier today. I'm like, I'd never heard of that. I'm like, what was I missing? And you can share your response to that.
I've not met a leader who has learned this before working with Wingspan, and really learned it at the level we operate regarding behavioral performance.
And when I heard it, and when the light bulb goes off, it's like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
I mean, you thought of it, and it so much of, or part of what we do is chunk things down, to simplify things and break them apart and get very specific, and back to the clarity and intentionality with our language to separate out the technical and the behavior. That then simplifies things of where is the poor performance coming from? Is it a technical or a behavioral piece?
Yeah. And I will tell you, in working with, I don't even know, thousands of business leaders, business owners, CEOs over the past 23 years here with Wingspan, a solid 95% of the problems that where they're putting most of their attention and energy, and that are costing the business and creating risk in the business, not 95% are on the behavioral side. Which is part of why I built the system.
And why it's lasted for 23 years. Because who addresses that like we address it, that it's not out there. I didn't see it. I've never heard of, I mean, I'm a seeker and a learner, and I love to pick up information. And when I first stumbled upon you, that I had no idea, I live in Charlotte, that we're based in Charlotte, that who's this Wingspan Performance in Charlotte? And to uncover that, I was just like, oh man, this is fascinating.
And now you're in on it.
Some days I'm like, let's go. And other days, it's, One other story. I want to go back to what it requires of us to be performance advisors.
Yeah.
Where I go to bed now way earlier than the rest of my family. And they make fun of me. I've always gone to bed a little bit earlier, but what is required of us from a physical, mental, and emotional standpoint, I've not experienced that in anything that I've done, because of how intentional we are, and the mental discipline, back to that intentionality and clarity. I'm exhausted physically, mentally, and emotionally when I get home. And that's also poses a challenge, because I also want to show up as my best self with my family and not default back to some autopilot behaviors and asking those yes/no questions. And that's been a challenge, as coming home being literally exhausted mentally, and then wanting to show up for my family and not just sit on the couch, which I do sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, giving yourself that recovery time in autopilot on purpose. Yeah, for sure. And it's amazing what the impact can be just to share openly, man, I'm exhausted. And having that exchange with Cole, or that's a meaningful exchange, because you're not working to act as if you're not,
right? Or
avoiding sharing, or confessing that you're not. So it's and
not stuffing it down,
and and for sure.
How I feel, where am I in this moment, and admitting that, and that's not right or wrong. Where I've come from, my history prior to Wingspan is what I feel and what's going on, to not feel that, or to stuff it, or to not acknowledge it.
Or that it's wrong.
Yes.
Or bad.
Yes, right. And it's admitting that this is where I am.
Yep.
And this is where I am. And I'm intentionally going to show up as my most powerful self.
All things considered.
Yes, given where I am.
Given where I am.
Not to be unreasonable, that I can be tired and exhausted and still be proud of how I show up.
Yes. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. You, Bruce, you've built and sold multiple companies. In the trenches, you know what it takes to sign the front of a paycheck. Looking back at some of those, you talked about the scars, some of those just everyday experiences of being an entrepreneur and a business owner. If you would have had Wingspan's behavioral performance system in your toolkit, how would that have likely, I don't know, changed the trajectory of your career or even just your day-to-day experiences?
Yeah, so much. So two words that pop up in my head is the words accountability and feedback. I wasn't taught or trained how to have those conversations in a useful manner to support other folks. I was scared of having those conversations. I didn't know how. I wanted to. I had the desire, and I was too fearful because I wanted to be liked. And so I say that because that limited my impact and influence, and it cost the business. And it limited our growth because our people didn't grow. We didn't move the business forward because we weren't all performing at a higher level. We would have grown so much. I would have owned so many more self-storage facilities because I would have been equipped to be the leader that I wanted to be. I had a conversation with a leader I work with yesterday, Julie, and she was telling me about what was happening in her business. She went from the corporate world and bought a small business, and she was saying about things going on and lawsuits and employees, and I just put my head down. I'm like, oh, I've been there. And I said, I remember being there, Julie, because I'd be looking around like, I didn't learn this in any class. This wasn't in my master's class or in college. Or like nobody taught me how to navigate this. And what we have addresses for business owners all the areas that I struggled with, and I know that my friends that are in business continue to struggle with. And so it would have changed everything. Like it feels like a vague answer because we equip leaders to how to do what they want to do. And so one of the ways that I kick off some conversations is that I wish I knew this 26 years ago. And I wish that I had the support of myself and that's not self-serving. I do wish that I had it, and it would have changed everything.
Most of the leaders we work with, as you know, have a few years under their belt. And so they've shared that with so many of them have shared that with me. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have had this. In fact, I just caught up with a leader that he and I have worked together for years, and he's actually over in Singapore right now. And he and I were talking about he would love for his adult children, they're young adults, to have the Wingspan system to support them in what they're navigating as young professionals. And you and I have talked about this too. That's a place where we want to take Wingspan is getting this out into the world at a greater level, working with young adults and making sure that they're equipped much earlier than
Absolutely. And perhaps it's the journey to better understand our patterns and tendencies. If I learn what I've learned up to this point, I could have shifted things earlier or shifted my patterns earlier in my life to get more of what I wanted and less of what I didn't want.
Yeah. I love that you're saying that. I mean, that's at the core, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
With everyone we're partnering with, we're here to help you get more of what you want and less of what you don't.
Yeah. I have one more thing that's hitting me.
Go for it.
As I was saying that, one of the key perspectives that we have, that you have, and that we share is that we all have habits, patterns, and tendencies, and we learn to be that way because we're powerful, resourceful, and creative. Going back to what I said earlier about me judging my past or my patterns, that's not how I'm seeing it now in my life and the lives that I work with. No, I have those patterns because I'm smart and I've learned and I'm resilient and I've created, and that those patterns led me to where I am today.
Absolutely.
And to not dismiss them or change them or critique them. No, they were my powerful partners through this. And that's a significant shift from, oh, you have these patterns, you change this. Don't be that way. No, you're that way for a reason, and that's great. And to get where you want to go, it's creating drag, or could be creating drag and holding you back. And that mindset shift, as I've shared that with many leaders, I feel their weight, their shoulders drop because they realize, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, or that all my experience that led me to here, I'm not discounting it.
Yeah.
And that they don't need to be fixed. So that is such a powerful perspective. And to your credit, and to the credit of everybody, the advisors, that's the lens that we see people.
Yeah.
That's unique. That is 100% unique. And that's what excites me to support others, and for myself. Like, I'm talking to myself in that, if I'm that.
Yeah. Inside game and outside game. Yeah. Not only with others, with ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, love that you're bringing that up, because we don't often talk about these, like the deeper intentions that I built into the system, and where not only our mindset is, where our hearts are when we are partnering with people. So, as someone who has scaled businesses to highly successful exits, deeply studied human psychology, the leaders who are listening to us, business owners, leaders who act like business owners, what unapologetic challenge would you offer to them today?
Slow down. And take the time to prepare and be intentional with your clarity, because as leaders, we all have greater impact than we realize. I firmly believe that. And part of my passion from being a leadership advisor is I have experienced a lot of poor leaders that didn't realize the weight that they carried.
Yeah.
And so my point to so many of the leaders out there, your voice matters, and how you say things and how you show up in the business world matters. And the precision with which you speak, it may seem like an offhanded comment or just this word or that word. No, it matters. And to feel that weightiness, that as leaders, we have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to support those that are around us, so that their most powerful self comes out. And when that comes out in the business world, we all win.
Yes.
The business wins.
Yeah.
The individual wins. It's a win all around. So to not underestimate that, and to take the time to be precise and intentional.
Beautifully said. Folks, go out to wingspanperformance.com, check out Bruce's bio, reach out when you want a powerful partner to develop leading without the BS, unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable performance. We'll see you next time.
Take care.